Everybody loves a good show, and the after party is where we tap in and celebrate that show. Imagine that life is the show.
Join us, Tam and Portia, at the after party where we'll celebrate life. The good, the bad,
and the ugly. This is where things get real, because that's life, and we're going to keep it real.
If you want to laugh and cry and be real, this is the show for you.
Come party with us.
Hey, Tim.
Hey, Portia.
Hey, y'all.
Hey, Boris. How are you?
How y'all doing? What to do? We are here for another tap with us as we discuss acknowledgement. Okay, tonight we are tapping into the second stage of healing, which is acknowledgement. Acknowledging who or what may have hurt you and learning how to heal, grow, forgive, and move on from it. After acknowledgement, focus on releasing and healing. So grab your drinks and tap in with us. Okay.
Tap in.
What we drinking, Tim?
The cocktail of this episode is a Moscow Mule. Listen, this is going to be refreshing and low in calories. This is a light Moscow Mule.
Yeah, I have a cranberry Moscow Mule. Okay.
She like a little color in her
I
stuff.
like a little color. Anything melanated. Anywho.
Cheers. Clink, clink, clink.
Clink, 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 clink.
Karaoke break. Y'all know what time it is. Okay, here we go. Hey. Yeah.
Look at the
One that hit and never call you again. And give Miller's time. Call him again. Why she was calling him? You're a Christian. That's the sin that did Jezebel in. Your friend. Damn, baby girl.
This is just a minimum.
Defend them. Don't defend them. Hey, come again.
Yeah, come again. Yeah, come again. Yeah.
Listen, why was she calling him?
Child, she was trapped in the cycle.
And she was acting like a rock when she really was a gem. She didn't even know.
She didn't even know it.
She just let him play with her. Boo.
If he get it then, he'll probably again. Like, what are we talking about?
Girls, you know you better watch out.
No. Come on. Come on.
Yeah, perfect for this acknowledgement. Y'all need to be paying attention. Those guys are only. Oh, goodness. Listen, we have a new vendor at the table today. Guard Citium, firearms and safety training. With a combined 20 years of military, tactical, police training and experience. Get your concealed carry license in DC, Maryland, and Virginia. Okay, that was wonderful. Guard Citium, listen, y'all be safe out there. Get your firearms training.
Yes.
Protect yourself, protect your house. Carry the thing on your hip. Acknowledgement.
Mm-hmm.
The second step is acknowledging the pain and trauma and accepting that it is a part of one's life, of your life. Accept it. This involves admitting to oneself that there is a problem and taking responsibility for one's own healing, for your healing. Acknowledgement is a healing practice that involves looking at the past and present with clarity and showing yourself compassion for where you've been and where you are now.
Yes.
Acknowledgement. I think we don't do that enough, show ourselves compassion. We show compassion to everyone else. We have compassion for everyone else. We do not show compassion for ourselves.
Like at all.
At all.
At all. We are our own worst critic.
Yes. So super hard on ourselves, always down on ourselves. If we don't get it right the first time, it's a big fail. But if it's someone else, you be like, oh, it's okay. You can try again. Just keep working at it. You could be so encouraging to anyone else, friends, strangers. But for yourself, you don't have that same compassion.
At all.
We got to work on that.
Yeah.
But you have to admit to yourself that these things are broken.
Yep.
You're now aware and you know what you need to do. Let's start moving forward to heal this pain and trauma. You have to acknowledge that it's there. You've already made yourself aware. You know what you need to do. Now you're really acknowledging it and accepting it and admitting it, that you have a problem. Take responsibility for it. And you're healing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It is a must. It is a must in this healing process, as we have already stated before. And I think, like we also said, that people don't really want to do the work. And once you acknowledge the problem, first you became aware, now you acknowledging the problem, it's hard to really sometimes process like what this problem is. And a lot of us like to think that we are good. Acknowledgement is super key. Definitely can be hard because we don't like to admit that we have problems. People like to pretend and mask and act like everything's okay. And it's not me, it's everybody else around me. But that is 9 times out of 10 not the truth. It's very important that we acknowledge what we are experiencing and what is going on with us. And not just so much acknowledging what everybody else got going on. Okay.
The thing is that when you're sitting in your trauma, it's so much easier to see everybody else's shit. And I say all the time, I got a t-shirt. I be knowing shit. But to be clear, I know your shit. I don't know nothing about what's going on with me. I be confusion when it be my situation. I don't know what to do, how to get myself out of the maze. But if it's you, I can tell you exactly every step you need to take to get out the maze. And I can have the same exact situation and cannot get out.
Figure it out. So you may have said things to yourself along the lines of, I know I need to do something, or this pain will get worse, or I know I'm not taking care of myself like I should. Lord knows I've said that. Okay. Or I'm overwhelmed and I don't know where to begin to make a change. On the surface, these statements have a feeling of defeat. And baby, that is so true for me. I feel like I probably have said all of these things. What about you, Sam?
I think I have said all of them as well. And to the point that these things feel like statements of defeat. Essentially, what you're doing is acknowledging the problem, and that goes back to always being down on ourselves, because you're, as soon as you say something that could be viewed as negative, oh, I shouldn't talk like that, I shouldn't be negative. No, you're acknowledging that there is a problem, and the only way to fix something is to know first that there's even a problem. I
To deal
remember
with.
they said, I think G.I. Joe was like, knowing is half the battle.
Yep. Yep.
Knowing is half the battle.
Knowing is half the battle, and you have to be willing to deal with the things, like acknowledge it and deal with it. You have to deal with it. And I kind of told you guys before about me not taking care of myself. Like, that's one of the worst things that I could do. Because a person that truly loves and cares for themselves would do the bare minimum and take care of themselves. Right. But and then we do take them as defeat statements, like, and it just keeps feeding into that belief within yourself that you're not good enough, that you're not worth anything, that you're not, like, you're not. But God did not say that we were not these things. He said that we were a peculiar people, and He made us in His likeness and in His image, and that we can do all things through Him that strengthens us. So, how am I saying all of this? Like, and I understand getting so caught up in the emotions of the moment. For me, I can get easily overwhelmed, like, very quickly. But now I am so self-aware that I acknowledge in the moment, like, okay, I'm overwhelmed in this moment. And I either choose to do something about it or to persevere, push forward, do whatever it is. Oh yeah.
Yeah, but when we acknowledge our needs, we make space for those needs to be met. And
Yes.
that's essentially what we're trying to get to the root of it. We want to acknowledge that we have these needs, and then now we know that we need to do something in order to make sure that these needs are being met. So, your acknowledgement that you are overwhelmed, stressed, and need your awareness that the current state of things is not sustainable for you, and not in line with how you desire to live. This is an accomplishment in and
Yes.
of itself. If
Yes.
we start viewing things on a more positive note, like, you, okay, I know I should be doing better. I'm feeling overwhelmed, whatever the case may be. But then you've acknowledged it, and now you know, okay, this is really not how I want to be living. So what's next? What do I need to do to turn this thing around? That's what we're trying to get to. We're trying to turn this thing around. We are sick of being in this unhealed, unsupported space. What must
For
we
sure.
do to turn this thing around? We cannot keep sitting in a space of sadness and miserable. Your heart is broken. Your heart is hurting. You're not taking care of your health because of all these other things. It's like a trickle down effect.
It
And
is.
so you're just sitting in this space and not moving, not doing anything. At what point are you going to be like, okay, I need a new pair of shoes. Let me go to the store and get them.
That part. That part.
You got to make some changes and some decisions that will propel you forward to the
Yeah.
next thing.
Yes, yes, yes. Be productive, okay?
Uh-huh.
Be purposeful, be intentional, do
Yes.
all the things. I personally have, like you said, go to the store, get the new pair of shoes. I have, y'all know I live in Chicago, child. The Windy City,
The
the
windy
Midwest.
city.
Um, the winters get really cold here, and it can
The
be
winter is
snow.
coming.
The winter comes and stays for months. I had went probably since the last few years. I have went a long time without a proper winter coat.
Mm-hmm.
I've had some little designer coats, like, and I'm not saying designer like labels. I'm just saying like fashion coats. Maybe I
Fashionable.
like fashion coats. I've had little things like that, little furs, little whatever. But
Mm-hmm.
it was nothing that is sustainable to
Mm-hmm.
endure said winter.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll just be rushing, like, I'm just gonna rush to my car, so I'll hold it together and run out there and get, stuff like that.
Right.
Something so simple that you would think it's a necessity in order to survive. Me
Mm-hmm.
not purchasing that winter coat in due time was another expression of me feeling so overwhelmed by all the things that are going on in my life that I got to take care of my babies. I got to get all their stuff. As long as they're warm, protected, and safe,
Mm-hmm.
I can go without.
Mm.
But and in that moment, it wasn't showing up for me like that. But I just realized, like, I used to buy me a winter coat every Good Friday. Go get me a nice coat. I can have it for the winter, whatever. And since
Mm-hmm.
I've gained weight and all of that, I think that is been the
Mm-hmm.
barrier. My weight gain. I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, I don't have a coat that I can wear with my current size. And I think I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to take care of myself in that way. And I've got overwhelmed with the thought of even going to search for a coat that can fit my body at
Mm-hmm.
this size. So I'm just like, whatever, push to the side, dismiss it. And instead of acknowledging the problem, which is I have a problem with taking care of myself and how I show up for Portia and
Mm.
not giving myself compassion, like, you deserve a winter coat too.
Yes,
Yes, your babies need a coat. Yes, you only gonna be out there for a few minutes, but also, why not have something to protect you and keep you and that you can endure this winter with? Why?
absolutely.
But we do that to ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And we just minimize what we need and how it is that it shows up for us. But I have since acknowledged the problem. Now, so
Mm-hmm.
Portia, this winter, we're getting a coat. And now I have a coat that I can wear, zip up, button up, fully, good. And I don't have to worry about frostbite. So,
She was frostbitten, y'all. She was running out there.
my fingertip. But no, it's just like so many levels to it. We don't see it until we see it, until you really
Mm-hmm.
become aware of it. And I was like, this is another way. And I'm acknowledging another way that I was not taking care of Portia,
Mm-hmm.
that I was sacrificing my well being for what? Who are you trying to prove something to? Like,
Were you even trying to prove something to someone, or were you just simply trying to ignore the
yeah,
weight gain
hmm
by not purchasing that bigger coat?
yeah. I definitely feel like it's some avoidance there for sure.
Mm-hmm.
The avoidance of that, the avoidance of self care,
Yes.
because again, I'm so overwhelmed. I got to take care of everybody else, but Portia
Mm-hmm.
can wait
Portia can
and
wait.
wait and wait and wait.
And once again, another reference. I know I say this all the time, and you do too, that when you're on that plane and they're giving you your instruction, they tell you to put the mask on yourself first. Because if you are not alive, you cannot save the person next to you. And so you not taking care of yourself, you're not going to be here healthy and whole to be able to take care of those babies if you continue on putting yourself at the bottom of the list. You
Exactly.
need to be at the top of that list. Yes, those are your babies and you love them, but you can love them by first loving you. You'll be a better
Definitely.
you to show up for them.
Yes. Yes.
And these are all things I'm sounding like I'm so smart, but I was not so smart when I was raising mine. A lot of this is hindsight, a lot
Yeah.
of growing pains,
Mm-hmm.
learning lessons, messing up the relationships with
Yep.
them, and trying to put them back together, acknowledging
Mm-hmm.
my part in it, what I did, how I did not show up. What I'm speaking about, I'm speaking from experience of what I did wrong, not what I did
Yes. Yes.
right.
Yes. Yes. I mean, but that's another part of acknowledgement, right?
Mhm,
Because we can acknowledge where we did mess up at. Like,
mhm,
I don't think majority of the people that do wrong
mhm.
or that are potentially doing right is because they saw somebody do wrong. It's still acknowledging a problem. It's still recognizing that or becoming self-aware that my parents may not have the resources that I have. And
Mhm.
that's why we were in that predicament. But I took it on as I gotta grind, 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 grind in order for us to be okay. But I can acknowledge that that mentality too can be detrimental to my children because if I grind so much and don't get the rest that I need, then how am I going to show up for them still at
Right.
the end of the day? What if
Mhm.
I drop dead, God forbid, then they're gonna have to fend for themselves anyway. They're gonna be without a mother. They're gonna be without a father. Like, We have to look at all of these things, but we don't see that in those moments.
In the moment, yeah.
Always in hindsight. So it's something to be said about that. Acknowledging that too. So don't beat yourself up, Tam. It may be from experience, but we're all doing better things from experience.
Yes, and honestly, my relationships with the children are the best that they've ever been. You know, partly because I no longer have to parent them, so I don't have to mess them up anymore. But also because they have chosen to give me grace in those areas, and I've acknowledged openly I could have done things a lot differently, a lot better, and we can't fix what's back there. We can only move forward. Like, let's move forward. How can I be better in the now?
Yep.
But a lot of the things that I did, if we're in the acknowledgement stage, a lot of the things that I did was based off of my own childhood traumas and not having an outlet to discuss. I used to say, I'm probably supposed to save this for who all gonna be there, but this who all gonna be there right now in this moment.
We do what we want to do. It's our podcast.
But I used to say things that my mother did or how strict she was, and I could ever do anything. I really couldn't ever do anything. I used to say, I'm never gonna be like that with my children. But all I ended up doing was repeating the cycle. I was exactly like that with my children. And I I didn't want to be, but I don't even think I could do anything to change it because I was so damaged and traumatized myself.
Yep.
And this is not a knock on my mother, because my mother was doing the best she knew how to do with the tools that she had. But I'm just saying, and it's not all things that my mother did to me. It's just life, right?
Yeah.
But I was already in this trauma stage that I didn't even know about.
Yeah.
And so I was just putting it back on my children. And I wasn't even aware that I was doing it to be able to acknowledge it.
Yep.
And so once I was aware, then I came to acknowledge it so that we can heal that and have good relationships.
Yeah. 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 Because you don't want to keep repeating that cycle.
Exactly. My mother did not have a mother.
Yeah.
So she didn't know how to be a mother. She never watched anybody be a mother.
Yeah.
Her,
Yeah.
her mother passed when she was 2.
Yeah.
Her sister raised her, and although her sister did the very best she knew how to do, she was an 18-year-old child rushing off to marry her high school sweetheart so that she could get custody of her little sisters, simply because she didn't want them in foster care. But she didn't know what she was doing. They didn't have a mother.
Yeah.
So they was just figuring it out.
Figuring it out as it is being thrown at you. Like most of us in life, unfortunately,
Unfortunately.
so many broken situations that we didn't ask to be a part of, and it's really like survival of the fittest. Like, and sometimes being the fittest comes at the hand of our own trauma, because it is trauma induced. So yeah, it's unfortunate, but like you said, and my father says the same thing, Tam. He'll listen to me over and over and over again, bring to the forefront of things I felt like, or what made me feel a certain way as a kid that I still deal with as an adult and working and processing through. And he like, I hear you. He hears me out, and he like, it's nothing I could do about then because it's already happened. But what we can do is do better going forward, moving forward. And so I accept that, I acknowledge that, and I can respect that because at least you're even willing to hear me out and also move forward. Actionable steps, right?
Yes.
So you're acknowledging my pain, my trauma.
Yes.
Also acknowledging where you may have faltered, but also acknowledging like, okay, this is what we can do now.
Yes.
So
it's something to be said about not being dismissed.
Yeah.
When you really are in pain and laying yourself bare to someone, it is something to be said by someone simply hearing you out and acknowledging their part in it, because it is no such thing that you didn't take any part in it. If you and I are in relation together, our friendship, and you come to me with an issue,
Mm-hmm.
and I just deny, that is not a good friend. I must hear you out. I must acknowledge your hurt.
Yes.
I must acknowledge what part I played in it. And I might not be able to acknowledge in a moment. You
Yeah.
know, give yourself grace. You might not see what you did wrong in that moment.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
might need a minute to process. That's fair, right? But I have to acknowledge how you feel, because, as people always say, perception is reality. So whatever you perceive to have happened is your reality.
It
It may
is.
not be my reality, but it's yours.
Yep.
So I can at least, if I love you, I can at least acknowledge how you're feeling,
Yep. Yep.
what part I played in making you feel that way, and
Yeah.
not just simply say, I ain't do that.
Right.
Sorry you feel that way, but it wasn't me. It wasn't my fault.
Yep.
That's
Yeah.
whack.
It is. It's whack, and it adds on to the pain and the trauma that is already there. You're doing nothing but digging in deeper. You're inflicting the pain much more. You making that grow in me. And it's not even necessary. And
Mm-hmm.
all you had to do was acknowledge your part. Acknowledge. Something
Something that should be so simple.
something so simple. But it's so hard for us to do because again, we don't like to hear the truth and hear how other people are receiving us. We
Mm-hmm.
in our minds, even if we do feel some type of way about ourselves, that's between me and my mind. I ain't
Mm-hmm.
necessarily showing up in the world like that, or at least I'm not trying to. Right.
Right.
And so, but and some people don't realize that they trauma just speaks before they even do.
Or wearing it like a coat, like a
Wearing
winter
it like a
coat.
coat. You before we even get to who you really are, your trauma has already spoken for you.
Mm-hmm.
And it be loud. And people be
Mm-hmm.
thinking, I'm doing a great job. I'm fooling everybody. They don't
I'm
even know.
fooling
Nobody has taught me yet. Sir, I see you.
everybody.
Ma'am, I see
I
you.
see
Okay.
you. And that big loud ass coat you got on, that big
That
red
part.
coat for the
It's
red
just
flag.
because once you go through that awareness phase, you're not only aware of you, you're aware of everything around you.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's stuff. And you be like, ooh, ooh, I
You
thought I
got
was
clarity.
Jesus. So it's something, it's a sight to see.
Oh shoot, it's a sight to see. It's something about that clarity, because, and this is the reason why a lot of people don't want to do this work, because that clarity about you, about them, about all of it, it don't always feel good, because especially if you are in a situation
Mm-hmm.
that you know you shouldn't be in, but you want to be in it because it feels
Or you think it
good.
should feel good.
Oh shit. You don't want to be clear in this instance,
Mm-mm.
because it's going to disrupt the fantasy that you had played out in your mind. And we don't
Mhm.
like that. We don't want that. And so we want to just ignore all of that,
Yep.
continue to wear the veil
Yep.
and hide and keep all the things hidden.
Yep.
But once you start doing the work, you can no longer believe your lying eyes. You have to face the truth. You have to sit with yourself. You
Mm-hmm.
have to receive the information that's being given to you. And you
Yes.
have to make a different choice. And that does not always feel good.
It does not. I don't think it ever feels good. I
Well,
don't,
there's that.
I don't think there was a time in history that
There's
felt good.
there's never been a time where it
Never
felt
been
good.
a time. But that's okay. And a part of things not feeling good is to get to the other side for them to feel good.
Mm.
Just because it's not a comfortable emotion that you like to sit in or deal
Mhm.
with, that emotion is necessary. You
Yeah.
have to feel it in order to get to the good stuff. Because you'll appreciate the good stuff even more because you felt the bad stuff. It's just the way.
Sometimes you have to feel the bad stuff. The Lord allows us to feel a little bit of that bad stuff so
Hmm.
you can really appreciate it when He bless you.
Yeah. You're gonna have a whole nother understanding, a self-awareness, and you're just gonna have everything you need to carry that. We talked about being prepared before. These things prepare you
Mhm.
to handle what's to come.
Mhm.
You asking for this blessing, but you're not even prepared to handle. You can't even handle this little stuff.
You acting out, falling out, cussing out everybody, and you want Him to advance your territory and give you a bigger platform, and you gonna be cussing the people out.
That part.
I know that's for me.
Come on,
I
acknowledgement.
know that's for me. If you can't
Please,
say amen, just say ouch. Listen, I know that's for me. Because I've
Jesus.
already acknowledged the things that are broken.
Mhm.
I'm still uncovering some things, but the
Yeah,
things I've already uncovered, I've already acknowledged, and I know I'm working on it, and I know He is preparing me. But
yeah.
I know that I can't be cussing everybody out. I have done so much better in 2024.
Come on, 2024 and more. I
And
mean, but
more.
like we said, it's a process. It's not an overnight thing. It takes time, and you're gonna constantly be tested and put in positions. And God gonna be like, "Let me see, you gonna do it this time? Let's
Yeah.
see." But sometimes you pass, sometimes you may fail.
Mhm.
And that's okay. It's a part of the process. Give yourself grace. Be compassionate with you.
Mhm. And at
Period.
least you're not failing all the time, because
Yeah,
that's growth.
that's growth.
Okay, this week I only cussed one person out, Lord. That is advancement.
Because last week it was 10. So come on. Kudos to you.
Yes, pat yourself on the back. If you only cussed out one person this week,
Just
pat yourself on the back.
God is
You
good.
only cried 10 times this week, pat yourself
Woo.
on the back. It's the baby steps. It is the baby steps. As long as we are acknowledging that there's work to be done, then you have time to do the work.
You have time to do their work. So, when you begin acknowledging past trauma, you will learn how to realize emotions and feelings that you may not even realize you were holding on to. Acknowledging the pain you are in is an essential part of the healing process. When we acknowledge what we are feeling, we can begin to learn why we feel like we feel. We can learn to work through our trauma.
Feel your feelings.
Feel your motherfucking feelings.
Feel them. Listen, how are you talk about you healing something when you not sitting and feeling your feelings? It is okay to be sad. It's okay to be hurt. It's okay to be angry. All of these emotions are okay and they're human. It is just not okay to stay there. If you're in the sunken place today, you should be actively working to get out of the sunken place.
Yes.
But it's okay to feel your feelings.
Feel them. It's necessary. It's a must. Like, and I know I keep saying that about all of this stuff, but it is. It is. Acknowledgement is feeling those feelings. Because with that acknowledgement, a flood of feelings comes and
Yeah.
emotions come.
Hmm.
So feel all those feelings. Write it down. Express yourself. Like, really make it plain in front of yourself so that you can have a reference. Remember, you felt this feeling before, and just like it came and went, it's going to come and go again. This is not forever. It's not everlasting.
It just feels like that in the moment.
Yes.
But this too shall pass.
Yes, yes.
If you give yourself the space to heal.
Yes, yes. Yes, yes. And yes, yes, yes.
And yes, and more yeses. You got to give yourself space and grace. That's about to be my new saying, space
Come
and grace.
on, space and grace. Space and grace.
Because
Period.
space meaning sometimes you got to create space. You might have to go through your isolation periods. And we don't like that because most of the time we don't want to be alone.
Yeah.
And I admit that I never even considered that I didn't want to be alone because I ain't never been alone. But I'm alone now. And sometimes it's really hard. And sometimes it's really a lonely feeling because if I'm being honest, I did not expect to be in this space at this time in my life.
Yeah.
But the Lord separated me from all those that did not mean me well.
Yes.
I just didn't know that was what it was at the time.
Didn't know what that
But I
was.
needed that space to figure it out.
Yeah. Yeah. We don't be knowing what it's going to look like. And that's why I keep saying we got to be asking God when we asking for stuff, ask him to prepare us too. Give me a glimpse, Lord. Give us the blueprint of what this may look like, because I don't think we be like knowing for real what this gonna look like, and then we be like, "Well, God, I didn't ask
This
for
is
this.
not exactly what I wanted.
Not what I thought it was gonna be." Like, what are we
Take it back.
talking about? But right, he did that so many times for people in the Bible. They had to go into the wilderness. They had isolating periods. They had to be locked away for years at a time. God, please don't let that be my story. But I feel like I am essentially in somewhat of a prison in this season of isolation that I have been in. I may not be physically locked up, but mentally I have been. Emotionally, I have been. But it has been up to me to acknowledge the problems and to actually move forward, feel the feelings, and move forward through them so that I can unlock this gate that has had me in prison for so long. Like, it's necessary. It's so necessary. Does it make it easier? No. Even having the knowledge of it? No. But I can acknowledge that this is a process. And this is only a season. And seasons don't last always.
Trouble don't last always.
That part. Okay.
You know, them old gospel songs, they was talking about some stuff now.
Baby, listen. They come up in me like, I don't know, but they just flow out.
They flow out. Listen, it's got to get easier, Lord. I know it is. And do not rush the process because you want to get to the good part.
Yes.
Because if you rush in the process, you are not going to learn the lessons that are placed before you.
At all.
Do not rush it. Take your time. Was that for me? Don't rush the process. I'll take it under advisement. Me and you want to talk later, Lord.
We'll talk later. Don't be coming.
We'll talk later. I don't know. That might have been for me. It might not have been for me. It might have been for somebody viewing. I'm not sure, but you'll.
It could have been for all of us. It could have been for all of us. Because I think we be so, again, living in this microwavable society. We want everything instantly, instantaneously. And even when we see others, we think it happens quickly for them, an overnight success and all of this stuff. That is realistic. It is not.
Right. It's
it
not.
took some time. It just didn't seem like much time to us, but it took time. It takes time. Yeah, that is definitely for all of us. Stop rushing to get to the finish line. Because then what?
If you didn't properly go through all of these stages, you still won't be ready.
Still. And then you're going to get the thing that you've been wanting
And
and
mess
you're
it
going to
up.
fumble it.
Mm.
You're going to fumble it. The bag going to have a hole at the bottom of it. So everything you thought you had going to be just falling out. And before you know it,
A holy bag.
or a holy pocket. You know how they say, they used to say that in church all the time. You don't pay your tithe stuff, God gonna make your pockets like with holes in it.
Uh-huh.
Whatever. It's the same thing. I mean, that's across the board in life. Stop rushing stuff
Russian.
because you thinking it's full now, but you don't even see it's a slow leak. You don't see the things until it's
It's
too
the
late.
leak in this old building.
That part.
Jake,
I don't know.
don't rush.
Don't rush. Acknowledge the problems. Face your feelings. Do the things. It's an essential part of the healing process. Essential. That does not mean it is optional. It's essential to the healing process. Or you will not properly be healed. You will not.
There's no timeline on this healing process. And even
Mm-hmm.
when you are healthy enough to attract good things and healthy and other healthy people, that doesn't mean that the work is done.
That part. And what I'm realizing too with that, Tam, you attract like-minded people, and like you said, we all on different spots of our journey, but that even is sharpening you.
Mm-hmm.
That even is helping you process through where you are in your journey. It's
Mm-hmm.
testing you, and you be like, F this. I ain't got time for that. Da, 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 da. But something is drawing these people to you and you to these people. And so I
Mm-hmm.
think it's important, even if it's not for longevity or whatever, pay attention to the season that you're in. And
Mm-hmm.
always, again, back to the awareness of the spirit, asking, what am I supposed to be learning in this season? What am I supposed to receive from this person? What was I supposed to receive from that encounter?
Right. Right.
Because God, that hurt.
Right. What am I missing? But
What
I think that if you're aware and acknowledging, you're going to know what the lesson was. As
yeah, yeah.
soon as you come up out of the initial denial of what happened to you,
Mm-hmm.
as soon as you do that, it is going to click. It will be revealed to you what the lesson was. Now it's
Yes,
up to you to do something with the lesson that you learned.
that part.
Because we don't always do stuff with the lesson that we learn. We just usually repeat them for a long time.
So did we really learn it? It's giving you have the knowledge but lack the application. Therefore, you ain't really learned nothing.
My people perish for lack of
The lack
knowledge.
of knowledge. You don't know
You
how
got
to.
you walking around with blinders on
Yep.
because it came in a pretty package.
Mm. Or it didn't come in the package that you wanted. Ouch. Woo! The acknowledgement.
This damn episode over. I am a woman, damn it.
Woo!
Woo wee.
You wanted it to come in that Macy's box, and it came in that Timu box. Listen, I don't know.
I don't want the Timu package, Lord.
Hey,
Timu use shrink wrap and everything be small.
Okay, I'm not with her. I'm not doing this with you. Not doing it. Mm-mm. The point is, you ask and you shall receive.
The
You have
Lord be giving us what we need,
exactly
and we be like, "This is what I wanted. Give it back, please."
take it away. He like, girl, you been praying and asking for this. What are you talking about? What
I'm blessing your socks
about?
off, and you talk about no return to sender,
I don't like this packaging.
giving away your blessing.
Mm.
Mm. Saying you can have them because this other one
Oh,
came in a prettier
what is
box.
this? Right. This one got nice wrapping and
Then you
pretty
be wanting to
bow.
go get your blessing back, and it be too late.
Yikes.
Mm, mm, mm. Ladies, don't let that be you. Gentlemen, do not fumble the bag.
That part.
Don't dismiss that lady because she had a mole on the tip of her nose. You went over there with Susie with no moles. And also, Susie couldn't cook. She couldn't clean the house. She wasn't good at nothing but shopping and
And looking
sex
cute.
and looking cute and spending all your dollars. And now Mildred over there cooking in Clinton and living her best life. And now you want that old thing back. It's too late.
It's too late. Yeah. I don't know. It's the acknowledgement. Acknowledge your flaws.
Hmm.
Acknowledge your pains. Acknowledge your trauma. Acknowledge yourself. You're worth it.
You are worth it. Invitation only. Questions and letters from you, our viewers. So we have an anonymous question.
Mm.
If you could go back to any age,
Oof.
what would it be and why? P.
I instantly thought when I was 18, I'm going to venture to go further back to maybe age 8 or 9. If I can go back to that age and tell myself that you are loved, you are worthy, and you are just fine the way that God has created you. Don't seek outside validation. Don't believe what they tell you. Believe in what I am showing you and believe what you are experiencing.
Mm-hmm.
I probably will be much further. I know I will be much further along in life, but also it was all for a purpose to get me to this moment. But if I can go back to that young age, that innocent Portia that was already experiencing some life, I would go back to her and I would hug her and love on her and tell her all those things for sure. What about you, Tam?
I have so many pivotal moments in my childhood that
Mm-hmm.
it's really kind of hard to pick one.
Mm-hmm.
My first thought was I would go back to 15,
Mm.
right before I got pregnant and had my first child. But then I started thinking, if I'm gonna go back to 15, I probably should just go back to 14 before I ever had sex.
Yeah.
And if I'm gonna do that, I probably really should go back.
Right.
I'm gonna do the assignment and I'm gonna say that I'm not gonna go back that far. I'm gonna go back to 17
Mm.
when I made the decision not to go to college because I was a mom and I didn't want to go away and leave my son behind. I feel like our lives could have been so much different
Yeah.
if I had gone on to school and let my mom keep him for that year.
Mm-hmm.
And I could have made such a better life for us, which could have alleviated a lot of the stress I had on me. And therefore, I possibly could have been a much better mom because I would not have had as much stress on me.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to go back. I don't think I want to go back to a time where I wasn't a mom and
Mhm.
then wipe that out. So I just want to go back to a time where I could have made a different decision that
Yeah.
could have bettered our life.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. That's understandable.
Hmm.
Understandable indeed.
Yeah.
Oh, acknowledging those younger versions of
Oh
ourselves.
my God. I always think it's so many things that I can acknowledge was a lot of hurts. And, it's like friends not being accepted by your friends or always being picked on. I was picked on a lot
Mm-hmm.
as a young girl. And I was picked on because I was pretty.
That's a real thing.
Long hair, they used to pull my hair. Oh my God, I would get off the school bus and start walking. It would be like a crowd behind me, pulling my hair, kicking me down the hill. I forgot about that.
Yep.
It was rough. And my mother, she didn't show that she was sympathetic. I don't know if she was, but she still be like, you better get back out there and fight back. But you're this little kid, and it's a crowd of kids
Yeah.
older than you, bigger than you, following you home every day. It was horrible. It was
Yeah.
horrible.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
forgot about that. Oh shit. Little
Oh,
Sammy.
honey.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's a lot of trauma attached to our childhoods.
yes.
And
Yes.
and sometimes just like just now, I forgot about that until I started saying it. After I said I remember, of course I remember being picked on, but I forgot that specific incident until I said it out loud. And that's because we bury a lot of it in order to protect ourselves, in order for us to move on through life. That's why people have psychotic breaks.
Yep.
That's
Yep.
why they have split personalities, because
Yep.
those personalities are trying to protect the personality that was abused. That's why all of these things happen, and that's why this healing work is so important.
Necessary. Necessary. So necessary.
Well, we done cried enough.
The acknowledgement thereof. Okay. So this is our last segment, which is shine a light on it. Okay. This is the takeaways from the show. And one thing, if y'all don't take nothing else away today, which I hope you did and you wrote it in your journal. Tap in. Okay. You can't fix what you won't acknowledge. So acknowledge it.
Go acknowledge some stuff. Okay.
It's not gonna kill you. It's not the end of the world. Acknowledge it.
Well, that's a wrap. Thank you for tapping in with us today. Please subscribe, like, comment, and share. And let us know what things you'd like to hear from us in the future. If there are topics you'd like to discuss, etc., you can email us at tnp@theafterpartypod.com to ask all your burning questions and show topics. And be on the lookout for our subscriber-only events. We'll be back in 2 weeks with another episode when we'll be discussing broken friendships.
Yes. Get into it,
y'all. Friendships. We'll see you back here in 2 weeks. Listen, tap in, write in your journals. Are you writing in your journals? If you don't have your journal, the link is in the description. We love you guys. Thank you so much for joining us. Bye-bye.